They blocked my only road, then tried to sue me for not letting their guests park on my land. A week later, their entire HOA collapsed. Their president vanished, and I was on the front page of the local paper playing cello next to a steel gate they'll never open again. Let me take you back to how this all started. My name's Carter. I'm not part of any HOA, never have been, never will. I live on a slice of family land out by Pine Valley, a gravel lane cutting through old orchard rows and willow groves. Quiet, isolated, just the way I like it. Every Sunday morning I'd drag my cello out onto the porch and play as the sun came up. No traffic, no HOA newsletters, no nosy neighbors. Until Lakeside Crest showed up 3 years ago. See, Lakeside Crest isn't a neighborhood, it's a production. Brand new fountains before the first moving truck even arrived. Color-coded mailboxes. A lifestyle committee that hands out fines for the wrong shade of mulch. I didn't think much of it. Figured they'd stay on their side of the hill. And for a while, they did. But then came the Garden Gala. That Saturday, around noon, I saw a silver SUV roll past my front gate. Then another. Then 5 more. I walked down the lane and found they'd hammered neon orange arrows into the ground, pointing traffic off the county road and straight onto my gravel path. Chalk lines, cones. They'd set up a whole valet system on my land. I flagged one of the drivers down. She rolled her window halfway and said, "The map says this is the way." I asked her, "Did the map say it was your driveway?" She shrugged and drove on. By 2 o'clock, 40 cars had trampled my orchard grass, pear trees shaking from slammed doors, families in linen suits setting up folding chairs on my property like it was some kind of country club. I called the number on their HOA website. A woman named Sandra picked up. "Oh, don't worry," she said, cheerful as a chirping squirrel. "That's just our overflow plan. We'll fix any ruts on Monday." I told her it wasn't theirs to overflow. She chuckled. "The board voted on it, Carter. These things are communal by nature." That's when I knew. I wasn't dealing with neighbors. I was dealing with colonizers. I marched down to the gala. White tents, string quartet, champagne flutes. Felt like a wedding for people who marry their own bank accounts. A guy in a tight blue blazer was checking names on a tablet. "You the guy with the cello?" he asked. "You should have played for us instead of complaining." I told him his guests were trespassing. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "Private property's such an old-fashioned idea." Something snapped in me, like a cello string pulled too tight. I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I just went home and started documenting. Every tire track, every picnic chair, every damn plastic wine flute left in the orchard. I downloaded my trail cam footage, which caught full license plates. Then I opened the old lockbox inside my shed and pulled out the original 1911 deed survey. Clear as day, marking that gravel lane as private, taxed as de droit. Taxed and owned. Monday morning, I hired a contractor to install a 10-foot steel gate at the head of the lane. Keypad entry, concrete set posts, strong enough to stop a pickup. Emergency services got the code. Everyone else? Not my problem. Phase 2, I reported the entire incident to the sheriff's department. Criminal trespass. Vandalism. I even had audio of the HOA admitting they planned the overflow parking. By Friday, 5 board members got visits from deputies hand-delivering citations. I thought that would be the end. I was wrong. That night, I came home from rehearsal and saw orange barrels blocking the county road, right where it met my lane. A hand-painted sign read, "Residents only, no through access." The HOA had trapped me inside my own property, claiming I was the traffic problem. I called the sheriff. He had the barricades removed. 3 hours later, the HOA put them back. We went back and forth for a week, until nature stepped in. One night, a thunderstorm rolled through. A century-old oak split right down the middle and crashed across the only paved road into Lakeside Crest. Power lines down, roads blocked. Fire trucks had bigger emergencies to handle. That fancy HOA? They were trapped behind the very barricades they'd set up to keep me out. Next morning, Colin, the blue blazer guy, called me. His tone had changed. "Could you unlock the gate for just a few hours so folks can get to work?" I told him, "Sure. All I need is a signed admission of guilt and a donation to the county wildlife fund equal to your champagne bill." He hung up. Later that day, Dana, HOA president, knocked on my porch with a bouquet of flowers and fake sincerity. "Let's talk easement," she said. I gave her a number so high she choked on her own breath. "That's not realistic," she snapped. "It's not supposed to be," I smiled, but I wasn't done. You see, I'm not just a cellist. I'm an engineer. And after the gala, I buried smart road sensors under the gravel, prototypes I'd developed years ago for a highway safety project. They tracked axle weight, vehicle speed, ground pressure. When paired with the license plate data, it gave me dollar-accurate damage estimates. Jurors love numbers. My cousin Robin works at the local paper. When I told her the story, she lit up like Christmas. Next thing I knew, I was on camera by the gate, cello beside me, telling the world about HOA madness. The piece aired during sweeps week. It got attention, but not just from viewers. County engineers saw footage of the HOA's illegal detour signs and started digging. Turns out, during Lakeside Crest's construction, they rerouted a storm drain without a permit. The runoff had been flooding my lower field for months. What followed was a cascade of violations: unauthorized surveillance cameras, improper pesticide storage, even forged signatures on landscaping grants. The HOA lawyer resigned. Dana stopped showing up to meetings. Then came the letter that made my week. 23 homeowners filed suit against their own board, a derivative action seeking over $2 million in damages. Colin quit the board. Their insurance company pulled coverage. Meanwhile, I filed my own civil suit. Their prescriptive rights claim collapsed when county records showed 0 days of uninterrupted public access. A judge ordered mediation. I agreed, on one condition: it would take place at a cafe I chose. Watching those smug board members sip $10 lattes while they signed the settlement was the sweetest music I'd heard in months. They agreed to pay for full ecological restoration of the wetlands, donate $100,000 to the city youth orchestra, and fully pave the county road to prevent future traffic. Their hands shook as they signed, but I wasn't done. Remember those smart road sensors? I submitted the data to a transportation think tank. A few months later, they published a case study titled "Unregulated HOA Traffic Load." A warning: developers panicked. Home values behind the gates tanked. Lawsuits flew at the original builder for poor design. That fallen oak had started an avalanche. Final twist? The county rezoned the slope as a conservation area. No more than 40 people can gather on that HOA lawn. Their precious clubhouse? Worthless. The gate's still up. The wildflowers have swallowed the chalk lines. Some nights, I sit up there, cello on my knee, playing Bach while the wind drifts through the quiet streets below. And all I can think is, whose road was it really?